Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Live Music Nation podcast, special festival edition. Today, we are with Julie Patton. She is with Art on the Lake in Guntersville, Alabama. Julie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Julie, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up, and talk a little bit about your family and your career?
Well, I grew up in Guntersville, Alabama, which for your listeners, that's in North Alabama. We are at the base of the Appalachian Mountains and at the southernmost tip of the Tennessee River. So it's a beautiful area, small town. I grew up here, but moved away about 30-something years and came back about 15 years ago. One of those things where I wanted to get a big city fix and I didn't appreciate my small town or its history or its culture when I lived here. And that's probably the story that you hear all the time. But I had an opportunity to move back and I love moving back. I really feel like I've gained experience in retail and fundraising, and with a large art company, I've been able to move back here and put all those skills and experience to use for my town. You've only got one hometown. So I'm glad to be back and do what I can for my community.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's start with Art on the Lake. 3 questions. Well, let's talk about the when and the where. Let's do that first, I guess.
Okay, so we're the 3rd weekend of April every year since 1961, unless that is Easter weekend, and then we move it to the 4th weekend. So
Okay.
Next year is the 63rd annual. We're the longest running arts and crafts event in the Southeast, and it'll be the 20th and the 21st of April. So 2-day event.
Yeah. All right. Now, 3 questions that really help our listeners get the full embodiment of what's going on there. And so I want to ask you, what does it look like? What does it smell like? Meaning food, what's in the air, if you have food. And then 3, what does it sound like? Is there other activities going on? Is there entertainment? Is there music in the background? Give me that description. Let's go back to the first one. What does it look like?
Well, we're alongside Lake Guntersville, which is the largest lake in Alabama. So we have that going for us. It's the beautiful scenery. And we are currently at our local recreation center, and we have some inside and some outside, which if you're a festival goer or an exhibitor, you like that option if the weather's not too great.
Right.
So we're sprawled and sprung out along sort of a lakeside and along the outside of the area. And we use the inside of the gym, and parking's great. We're right next to a main intersection. Ballparks are there, walking trails, benches, all kinds of neat little things. It's very social, very active. We have about 5,000 to 6,000 people over the course of 2 days.
Perfect. All right. Now let's talk about some of you do have food vendors, correct?
We do. You can't have an outdoor festival without food.
Well, you can, but I don't think it would be very successful, but go ahead.
So yes, and we do have food vendors. And so you can always smell, like we have a great food vendor that comes from Atlanta, and they are grilling chicken and brats and hot dogs. We've got barbecue people. We've got funnel cakes. We've got gelato. Sometimes we do wood-fired pizza. So that great smell and smoke in the air just sounds like you're camping out. Smells like you're camping out when you come there. There's a lot of activity, and food is a big part of that. Yes.
What's your favorite types of food that you have, Julie? You're being awful discreet here.
I know. We have a local guy that does seriously the best fried catfish fingers I've ever had in my life. And he does these catfish finger baskets, and it has fries and just fried catfish. I don't know. And we're big catfish people here. There's just something about how good that is. And we get it free because we're festival promoters. So we sometimes get free food, but that is outstanding. And that's something I don't eat a lot, but I kind of indulge that one time a year with some good fried catfish and some funnel cakes.
Perfect. Now let's talk about some of the other aspects that are going on during the day. Do you have entertainment? Do you have music? Do you have activities for kids? Are there different booths and vendors that encourage participation? Those kind of things.
Yeah, we do have outdoor activities for kids. We usually have big bungee jumps and rock climbing walls and little arcade games. There's lots of laughter and kids playing and people laughing. Like I said, it's very social, and a lot of people come year after year, just sort of like a reunion to see friends they haven't seen in a long time. So it's very lively. And different vendors do demonstrations, and we usually have activity tents where kids or even, young at heart adults that can participate in art projects that we can display. We don't have a lot of live music normally. That's just not our event. Our exhibitors pay for the opportunity to come to this, and sometimes live music just sort of kind of messes with that interaction that they might have with patrons and talk about the art and networking. So we've often had live music, unplugged, if you will, like in little corners and pockets throughout the event to kind of draw you through the building, or maybe off to the side, in a courtyard somewhere as people are eating, that kind of thing. It's not like a show. It's just lovely little, ambient music that we can do sometimes. So that you can hear that throughout too. And you hear boats on the lake. The lake's right there. You can hear boats and skiers and that kind of thing. It's real. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to do.
Perfect. Talk about the art itself that people will be able to see. I'm assuming that it's available for sale. Talk about some of the price ranges that you're going to have. I know that art can get pricey and it can get expensive, but I'm sure that it's valuable to your community. So let's talk about that.
Right. So we have all categories. So painting, drawing, sculpture, pottery, jewelry, woodworking, fiber crafts, photography. It runs the gamut. And most exhibitors that do shows like this, you kind of get on a circuit, and they'll come to your show one weekend and do another show another weekend. They often adjust their prices to your community based on like where you're from, and because they want to sell it and they want to connect with you. We have a lot of repeat people that come just to buy art from the same artist every year. So we do what we call Guntersville prices sometimes, but we leave that up to the artist. And so you could get like a really nice painting for $250, and you could get a really nice painting for $2,500, $5,000. It just kind of depends on. We have a little bit of a variety for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, 2 fun questions. I always like to end the interview on a couple of fun questions. I want to know who's your favorite artist when it comes to art. Who's your favorite?
Well, I do have a lady that comes every year that's from Decatur, Alabama. Her name is Joanna Littleton, and I do personally collect her art. I have about 12 pieces in my house, and I'm also the museum director here, and we have a couple of pieces of hers in our permanent collection. She's a lovely lady from Decatur, Alabama. She's lived overseas. She's got a great story. I love the colors that she uses. She's a watercolorist, and a lot of her pieces have some really great meaning. So I'd say Joanna Littleton.
All right. Very, very good. Last question. Dead or alive, you can watch one artist create their piece of work. One artist, dead or alive. Who would you like to observe work?
I guess I could say, I don't know, like a Da Vinci, maybe somebody that was just extremely famous and important, and sort of a trailblazer back in the day. A great inventor as well, just to see how his mind works and how things played out on paper. That would be interesting.
That's a great answer. I love it. I was probably who I would have picked as well. That's good. Very good. Julie, how do people find out more about Art on the Lake?
We have a website, artontheleake-guntersville.com, or you could just Google Art on the Lake in Guntersville, and you could get our social media websites or our website.
Okay, very good. Julie, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
day.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine.